All right. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Courtside Philosophy. I am your host, Lonnie Smith, and I'm back with my guy, Pradeep. What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Hey,
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. First pod of 2024. And
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We're going to jump into it. So this one, we're going to talk about All-Star. It's coming up. Some of the voting has been coming out. I think we're just past the second phase of fan voting. So I have a list that's mostly complete. I'll say there's some openings for some spots, and I believe Pradeep has at least the starting five.
Yeah,
so,
for both conferences.
Conferences. So we'll go through and name the guys that we think will be should be starters, and then some other reserves that will be added to the list. And then there's also room here for a broader discussion, right? Because this is NBA All-Star, right? It's not all NBA teams. So
right.
I think for that, right, people look more at, statistics or at least put more weight into statistics and success from the team, right? This is 50% fan vote, right? So, it's just who are your favorite players for the most part. There's still some element of you got to be playing well.
Yeah, and part of me, I'm also factoring in who do I think will have like the most pizzazz and like take it seriously, because the All-Star game has been kind of a joke the last few years.
Yeah,
they tried the Kobe 24 points thing.
Yeah, the Elam ending.
Yeah, and it was
cool.
It
for
worked
the
for the first year.
The first year.
Yeah, and then it doesn't. It just there's no value to it. So
yeah, and so they are ending the captaincy as well. So it past 3-4 years, it's been the most the leading vote getter in both conferences gets to be team captain, and then the rest of the starters are put in a pool to pick from, and then the rest of the reserves are put in a pool to pick from. But this year they're just going back to East versus West. So we'll see how that ends up. I think it could be interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right. What do you want to start?
Let me ask you something.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to do like who do you think is going to be the starter, and then who do you think you want to be the starter?
So I have my list is who should be the starters.
I see.
And then I do have like in parentheses next to a couple names like who is going to probably end up being the starter.
So all right. Yeah. No, that sounds good. Let's do it.
And then apologies. I'll look over here to my side here. I got a second laptop with some stuff pulled up.
I've got multiple screens up.
Yeah. So where do you want to start, in the East or the West?
So I guess, do you want to go like positionally, because it's 3 front court and
it's 3 front court, 2 back court. So that's how I have it split on my screen.
So you want to do 3 front court of the East? I feel like that's the easier one.
That's the easiest one. Yeah. Let's just do the East first. The West is harder, so that might be more interesting. Let's start with the East. So I think the front court, pretty much, it's a lock, right? Giannis, Embiid, and Tatum. Those are your 3.
That's what I got.
I know Embiid's missed a little bit of time, but he's been absolutely dominant this year. There's no way you leave him out as a starter.
Yeah, and like looking at them and then the drop off to the other qualified front court players, it makes the case kind of easy.
Yeah.
They're just a tier above the others, and they're all 1As on their teams, right? All their teams are doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, I'm a little worried about Milwaukee. I think that's been that point's been dated for a while, especially like Giannis has been known to be a good defender, and him and Brook have held down some pretty top-notch defenses.
Right.
But new coaching staff, new personnel, things have changed, and they're not able to do that. That's concerning.
Yeah.
As an all-round player, I would say, for Giannis.
Yeah, I think to your point, and if you look at the LeBron metric on B-Ball Index, Giannis, Embiid, and Tatum are the top 3 in the East. And then there's a how big of a drop is this? This is to Porzingis is the next. If you just go front court players, he's the next guy. It's like a full 1.3 point drop in that metric.
Yeah.
So I agree. Those are your three. I have the same concern about Milwaukee defensively. Um, I thought, same personnel, but like you mentioned, different coach, different system. Are we confident that they're going to figure that out before the playoffs?
I think they're going to have to fire Griffin. Honestly,
ooh, wow!
I'm on that boat. This is championship or bust, right? Like
that's right.
This team,
you were on Keep Bud. You were on Team Keep Bud.
I was on Team Keep Bud. The fact that they let Terry Stotts go means their offense is kind of chaotic now, right?
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, and then especially for a rookie head coach to get rid of a coach that's been around for a decade coaching. I think they made the playoffs just about every year that he was on the Blazers.
Yep.
And he was also part of the championship-winning offense for that Dallas Mavs team.
Yeah.
He's been known around the league, so it's just bad vibes. Yeah. I think with the coach, and it just reeks of rookie coach. Too much pressure on him to do well, and he just doesn't have. Yeah, I think they need to fire him.
Wow. Okay. Well, what are they? 27-12, and we're talking about.
Yeah, they're 3 games from the top seed, but if you look at their rating relative to their net rating relative to the rest of the East, they're like a 5 seed or a 6 seed. Let me pull up the standings.
That's one of those. They're a 2 but masking.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Or 5 masking as a 2, however you say it. But okay, yeah, I see that. I guess we can stay on the Bucks a little bit because we can talk about the backcourt in the East. Do you have Dame as a starter?
So, I don't think he statistically is a starter.
Okay, so you don't think he should be one?
I don't think he should be,
but
I think he will just from name recognition.
Yeah.
And being on enough primetime games, he's got enough social media presence.
Yeah.
He's got the ads. He will be.
Yeah.
My 2 guards are the 2 Tyreses.
Halliburton and Maxey. Oh,
yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I think Maxey, I was wrong about him. I thought he was going to be another, Tyler Hero type of player. And he kind of is, just a way better version, right?
Nice,
a way better version. Yeah. He works well with Embiid. The team is clicking. Mm-hmm. Arguably, they're the second best team in the East.
I would say so.
And he's a core part of that. I would put Jaylen Brown here if he qualified as a 2, but he qualifies as a 3. So
yeah,
that's what makes it kind of difficult. So yeah, I have Tyrese, the 2 Tyreses.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so I have pulled up here the results after the second fan vote. So currently, Dame is 3rd after the fan vote. He's got 1.4 million votes. He's actually
There's no way Trey's making it.
Dude, Trey is ahead of him. He's number 2.
I understand, but there's no way the coaches and the media are.
I'm wondering how much of a lead he's going to have until the coaches and the players vote, and then see how much room for error he's got after that. And then Tyrese is comfortably number 1 on that list.
Right.
And then it goes Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey. I put Donovan just because he's doing it right now with no Garland and no Mobley. It's he and Jared Allen, the Showfro. Love the Showfro. But so I gave him the nod, right?
Yeah.
But I definitely wouldn't mind seeing Maxey be an actual starter. I would be all in favor of that.
Yeah. Too. I considered Donovan. Then I started comparing the numbers with him and Maxey. Like you said, he's been more on point recently.
Yeah.
And that's because Garland's kind of out, and I think that system has that roster has too many redundant players. Garland and Mitchell are kind of redundant. Mobley and Allen are kind of redundant in terms, at least defensively, in my opinion. And contribution to wins. Maxey has a higher win share than Mitchell, and he's been slightly more efficient than Mitchell. But it's like in terms of like counting stats, I guess it's not that far apart.
Yeah.
So
they weren't.
I could see the case.
Yeah, they weren't far apart. I think Donovan had
Yeah.
45 the other day in Paris.
Yeah.
But it's against the Nets. So do we subtract from that? Is that like really?
I don't know, man. The Blazers beat the Nets. That says something,
boy.
right?
Oh man, and
this team just lost by 62 points. Beat the Nets the night before they did that. So
come on, Brooklyn, man. That's bad. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So you and I agree. Halliburton's a lock. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so then here's one point that should be mentioned, right? Because with All-Star, there's also this narrative piece that comes with it. Depending on the location of where it's being held, usually you'll end up with at least one player from the team that is where they're having the All-Star game this year, the All-Star events, be on just to represent the city. Now, it worked out because it's going to be in Indiana. Halliburton already was going to be an All-Star because he's been awesome this season. But on top of that, the narrative just makes it a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
He will not only be a star or an all-star, he will start, assuming he's healthy.
I'm going to say that of the guys that are starters, Halliburton is the one that's going to try the hardest for the All-Star MVP.
Yes. I mean, guys might try to give it to him. Remember, they did that for AD when it was down in New Orleans when he was still there. They just fed him the basketball, and he had an All-Star game record at the time, like 51 or whatever it was. So I can see that. But he's got to be healthy. Unfortunately, he had I guess he slid on the court there, stretched out his hamstring, I think. And
he, did the splits,
Yeah, it wasn't great. Okay, reserves. So we've mentioned a couple of the guys. For me, Dame is a reserve.
I agree.
Jaylen Brown should be a reserve. Maxey, since I don't have him starting, would be a reserve. I have Jalen Brunson.
I was going to say you have to have him.
He's got to be in there. And then my sixth guy is Derek White from the Boston Celtics.
Okay. So you have 6 guards?
So I have. Well, JB counts as a front court guy, and so does Butler. Right. So I've got 4 guards and 2 front court players, and then I have an open spot for my 7th spot in the reserves. But like Derek White, this man has been fabulous this season. Like remember they traded for Drew, and so people were thinking, oh well, Drew is going to be clearly the best player on that, at least defensively. He'll bring the defense at the guard position. Per cleaning the glass, Derek White is the leader in differential for this team at plus 15.5.
Let me ask you. Okay, I guess I got a clarifying question first.
Okay.
For the reserves, it's not positional.
No, it's not.
Or it is.
It is not.
It's not. So why not have some of the guys that are, the 1As of their team? Their team isn't as good as the Celtics. Like, for example, Paolo, right? Or, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to look. Not LaMelo, not DeMar.
And so here, can I give you a list?
Yeah.
Because this is the debate that I think we have to. I don't know if we'll ever come to a conclusion with All-Star, because it's like, do you reward the teams that are winning with multiple All-Stars, or is this more based on individuals? So even if this guy's team is terrible, he's playing well and he deserves to be an All-Star. So I have a couple names on that list. I mean, Trae Young is on the list. Does he deserve to be an All-Star? According to LeBron, his offensive impact is up there. Now, defensively, he's not very good, but in total, he's still one of the better guards in the East. And then you've got Scotty Barnes with Toronto. Right? He's been doing really solidly this season, but Toronto's 15-24 at the moment. So are we rewarding that? Do we get those 2 guys in, or do we go with a Julius Randle because the Knicks are winning and they're above 500 and he's been a piece of that? Or do we give Bam a shot here?
Right. So, okay, how many positions do you have?
Filled in the reserves?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 out of the 7.
6 out of the 7.
So there's one.
So I think So I don't. This is just my opinion. I don't think the Celtics have played well enough to deserve more than 2 All-Stars.
Really? Okay.
Right? Like they're 30-9. They're not playing like the Warriors, back in the day.
Yeah.
Right? They are. If they missed 2 games, they're still slightly on pace to meet the Phil Jackson rule, but like they could be off, and I just don't think they've had as dominant as a performance for a number 1 seed to deserve
more than 2.
Yeah, because like the Hawks were 60 and something, and they got 4, right? 4. And then the Warriors were 60 something, and they also got 4, right? I don't know, maybe 3, but that's like they would be the last filling position. In my mind, I'm seeing like the Knicks probably don't deserve 2. I think Brunson has been good enough.
Yeah.
I think the Magic need some representation. You know what I mean? Like they've been surprising, right? Like been. So.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, and I was doing that exercise too. Like, I went down the standings to be like, all right, does it feel like this team deserves multiple All-Stars, and if so, who are the 2? And then I got to the Orlando question, and I was like, do they have a guy? The 2 that come to mind, obviously Paolo and then Franz Wagner. But at least per LeBron, where's Paolo?
Paolo's not been good.
Yeah, Paolo has not been good. Where'd he go? He's not even on.
His PER is pretty low, but he's played every game.
He has played every game. Dang, I can't find Paolo. There he is. Jesus, he's down here. He's 45th in LeBron amongst frontcourt players. Frontcourt players at .66. Yeah. Franz is actually ahead of him, and it's the same.
I was going to say Franz is playing better.
Yeah, and it's the same story over at Cleaning the Glass. On Orlando's team, he has the worst differential for on-off. Does Paolo? He's like a minus 13, and I mentioned that earlier this season, and it's still that way now. Now Franz has actually gone up. He was in the same boat early in the season. Now he's actually a plus in differential when he's on the court.
Yeah.
So he's gotten better. And it's really I looked at some shooting splits for Paolo. He is terrible at the rim, which doesn't make sense to me, just logically. He's only shooting like 39% at the rim. And that reared its head just the other night because he had 2 bunnies to beat Miami and missed them.
Right.
And it's like, so I'm sitting with Orlando. I'm like, they were like top 4 at one point early this season. Now they're 8th. Like there's 3 games above 500. So I don't know if they deserve an All-Star. Then I'm not.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm with, and then the Bulls and Nets are no's, and then the Hawks and Raptors below them. But we talked about Scotty and Trey, so that should be a no. So then I don't have many other options.
Right.
Which is what gets me to Derek White and what he's been doing this season, kind of being the defensive stalwart that he normally is, plus chipping in on offense. He would be their third guy to make it, and I would feel okay with that personally.
I think that's fair. I obviously don't have my reserve list because I didn't do this exercise. So I'm doing it now with you. I think that's fair. I think putting Derek White in as like the reserve because his numbers statistically look great and he's been very impactful. My always concern with like guys like that on good teams is like how much of that is them versus them playing on a good team, right? Like, it's like, is it the benefit of the guys you play with or is it you, right? So, but I could see the case for Derek White.
Yeah. So then, I know I'm still stuck with the guys I mentioned, right? Bam, down in Miami. I mean, did I say Jimmy Butler? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think you did.
So he's there. So then Bam, Tyler Hero's missed time. and Jimmy's missed some minutes here and there, so he's had to, hold it down for a little bit. But he's still not above 1,000 minutes on the season himself. Then I obviously threw out Scotty and Trey, and then there's Julius, right, with the Knicks. At least in the regular season, he seems to be a really nice player, and then things kind of change in the postseason.
Right.
So maybe he gets the nod, or some people will even throw at Porzingis and give the Celtics 4 guys, and I can't get there.
I can't get there either. And I do feel like it's going to end up being Trey simply because of the fan vote.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where I'm at. I think Trey may slide in mainly because of the lead he has with the fan vote. We'll see where Julius ends up. I don't know. Yeah. He could be in there. All right. So that is the East. Are you ready to transition to the West?
Yeah. Okay. The West is harder for me.
The West is very it's hard. So
I can do the guards easily.
Well, yeah, there's going to be a discrepancy in who should and who will for me.
Right.
I guess we can start there.
Yeah.
To me, who should make it and be the starters are Luka and SGA.
Yep, that's what I got.
And who will make it is, unfortunately, SGA is going to be bumped out for Curry.
See, this is where their fan vote isn't far apart. It's 400K, right? Like relative to James Harden underneath them.
Yeah.
They're still close.
Yeah.
And I can see the media. I think it's media and coaches, or is it media and players?
It's media, players, and coaches.
Okay. So media, players, and coaches is the other 50%. I could see them giving Shea the nod just because his team is the second best team in the West.
Yep.
And he's playing at an MVP level.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Steph Curry is not playing at an MVP level. It's not as impactful to the team.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So
okay, that's easy enough.
Yeah, that's easy enough. Front court. Obviously Yoke. He's a lock. Durant. I have Durant in there.
Okay.
And who should be the third is Kawhi. To me, he should be the third. All right, he's played just as He's just as impactful per LeBron as LeBron himself, and he has his team in position right now. What are they, fourth in the West or something like that right now? They've moved things along, but who will get the last spot is LeBron.
Right,
he's gonna.
He's gonna be the captain.
They don't do captains anymore, but yeah.
Oh, right. Been. Yeah. That's the thing. I have. What do I have? I have 3 guys that I was looking at: LeBron, Kawhi, and Durant.
Yep.
Their numbers are all very similar. Their win shares are the same. Their PER is very similar, and it's just like at that point in my mind, it's just the fan vote.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's going to be Durant and LeBron.
Yep.
But it should be, in my mind, Durant and Kawhi.
Yeah.
LeBron's great. That's the thing, too. Like, I can see the statistical case for putting LeBron in. But leaving Kawhi out is the difficulty. So Durant also has played fewer games than LeBron. 5 fewer games. So it's not substantial, right?
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
There. I mean, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be LeBron, Jokic, and KD. They're going to get the spots. Kawhi deserves a spot as a starter to me, but those are the 3 that will get it. But Kawhi is definitely going to be an all-star. I mean, so he got his money, first of all. Signed a 3-year, $150 million
no player option.
Nope. So he's going to be on a $52 million contract next year, and then flat 50 after that for the next 2. So Steve Ballmer's got his guy who's supposed to be the face for when they open up that new arena next season.
It's what a risky move, right? Like
hey.
Fully guaranteed all the way.
Oh boy, who's representing Kawhi?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it because, like, when he plays, he's a top five player.
Yeah.
But when does he play? You know, like, when is he?
Well,
his body is degrading, right? And he's getting older.
He is getting older, but this year he has held up. He's only missed like 2-3 games.
Yeah, I mean, he's 32.
Yeah.
So by the end of the contract, he'll be 35.
Yes.
I just don't see him playing.
Wow.
Like, I don't know. That's a hot take, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. And then I guess what are they going to do with PG? Because he was on the same deal as Kawhi, so he's on that player option for what, 48, 49 million?
Yeah. I guess another question is PG an all-star this year?
Yeah, that's absolutely a question. He is on my long list of considerations. So if we want to, getting into reserves for me, Anthony Davis deserves a spot. Anthony Edwards deserves a spot. He's the best player on the number 1 seed. Curry, he will probably be a starter, but if not, he definitely will be a reserve. LeBron, again, if he's not a starter, he's definitely a reserve. Then it gets tricky from there. Fox with Sacramento, he's been great for them. I have him in right now. And then our boy James Harden. He is 4th in fan vote for guards.
Yeah, but it's a huge drop.
It's a huge drop, and then there's a lot of people around him. But I mean, he's been impactful, right? LeBron likes him, and he's when you look at cleaning the glass differential, it's their big 3 for the Clippers: Kawhi, PG, and Harden have the best differentials for the team. So I can absolutely see Harden making it, especially since last year he missed it. I think they left him off the team. That's right. They left him off the team, and then someone got hurt, and Adam Silver went to him and said, "Hey, you're in," and he said, "Nah." Nah, that's all cool. It's like, so I think he might get the nod. Here's the thing about PG too, right? We go back to the location. Because Paul George obviously was drafted by Indiana, and he played there to start his career. And this All-Star game is in Indiana. So, do they have a special relation? You know what I mean? He was
fandom towards Paul George, or
I think so, right?
Because he wanted to leave. He asked out,
but he was there for 6 years, and he took over for Danny Granger when he went down, and obviously they had the playoff series against the Heatles, where they pushed him to the brink.
6 years, yeah.
He and Roy Hibbert and company were.
He kind of left on a sour note, but he did not. When he left, he didn't leave in because what did they get on that trade? They got Oladipo and they got Sabonis.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then Oladipo got traded. I mean, I don't know. And Sabonis got traded for Halliburton. I guess I just don't see the fans having, feeling some type of way about Paul George. He just came through.
No,
but I could be wrong.
Yeah. I'm just throwing it out as a narrative thing. Hey, he played there. He was their best player for 6 years or whatever it was. So maybe people want to get him in, get him back to Indiana. He'll be there, obviously, anyways. But we'll see. Then I have a whole list of guys.
So what is that? How many have you filled up?
So if you include Harden, then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I only have one spot left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
So you haven't included Paul George?
No, I have not. He's not in.
So you're including Harden over Paul George?
Tentatively. You could sell me on either one of them. I do think 2 Clippers will make it.
So I don't know if you said this name. I think Şengün deserves consideration before these guys.
Oh, okay.
In my mind.
Interesting.
The Rockets team, they've been surprising me. They've been playing really well.
Yeah.
They're in the play-in hunt. I thought they would be right outside. Obviously, everything can fall apart.
Yeah.
So, Lonnie, I'm not trying to say anything.
It started yesterday.
That's the reality of
Boston,
things.
Yeah.
Right. But, Şengün has been the engine on a 500 team, and he's been playing really well. He's got great metrics.
So the metrics would actually tell you that at this point it's Van Vliet who's been the most.
Oh, interesting.
All right, so LeBron has Van Vliet ahead of Şengün, and Cleaning the Glass has Van Vliet's differential as better than Şengün.
I can't. I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of Van Vliet at all.
Wow, hating.
What
has Van Vliet done to you?
Inefficient chucker. All right?
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, man. I just when he dribbles up, and then just shoots that 35-footer, and then it clanks off the rim. I'm just like, come on, man, like do something else, right?
Listen, his value is when he's getting on these guys on the bench and in the locker room. Okay, you can't put some metric on that.
Yeah. I just think Şengün has had a great year so far, and he deserves the nod.
Okay, so let me throw out some more names because I literally have a giant list. So we've already mentioned PG and now Şengün. He was on the list.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised Wemby doesn't have a higher fan vote. I thought he would. I know he has
San Antonio.
Yeah, he's in San Antonio.
But he is an alien. I don't know.
He's an alien. I know, like offensively, he's absolutely a minus right now because he's. If you just look at his shot chart, around the rim, inside 5 feet, he's unstoppable. Like, he makes everything, but most of his frequency is out at the 3-point line. It's like Wemby. I know you like to shoot threes.
He's been playing better since they moved him to center.
Yeah,
instead of at 4.
See,
so that's been good.
Yes. So I had his name down. I was surprised his fan vote was a little higher. I don't think he's gonna make it. Not this year. He'll be obviously on the rookie All-Star team for sure, but not the actual All-Star team.
And I also think he's not going to win Rookie of the Year.
Ooh,
I'm making that statement.
Ooh,
I think
we're on Chet.
Yeah, we're on Chet.
Ooh, okay. I don't know. It's going back and
his
forth.
His team just sucks, man. Like I don't know. Like they're not getting him the ball in the right spots. Like like he's just not. He's set up for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. That's gone back and forth. I've been back and forth on that. Chet had the, I think, better start. Wemby's come on. So we'll see. That's going to be neck and neck. Chet is also on my list as a candidate.
Booker?
I do. Booker is a candidate as well. And then Kyrie.
Okay.
I mean, when he plays, he's electric, but he hasn't played a ton this year. Metrics-wise, Markkanen pops out for Utah, and they just climbed, I think, into the top 10 in the West. So they pushed like the Suns or the Warriors and Lakers out with beating the Lakers themselves the other night. It's like 132-125. And word, at least from Utah, is if they want to trade, if you want Markkanen, they view him as untouchable slightly. They will trade him, but only for one of your untouchables. All right, so that's the value they have on Markkanen in Utah.
Freaking Danny Ainge, man! Like, goddamn.
Oh, Danny. And then we mentioned PG, and that's Sabonis.
Yeah,
with the Kings, because Fox missed some time with a thumb injury or ankle injury, and Sabonis was having to hold it down. Although Keegan Murray, that dude. That's a dude.
Yeah, I'm just hoping his twin is the same. That's good. Come on!
But yeah, metric-wise, Sabonis is ahead of some of these other forwards, like on LeBron and some other stuff.
There's 2 names here that you haven't mentioned.
Okay. Ooh.
And I think should be in at least the consideration tier.
Okay.
They both play for the best team in the West.
Oh.
Gobert
and Cat. Yeah.
Like, Gobert's win shares is up there with the starters. His impact is pretty noticeable on defense, at least.
Yeah.
And offensively, he does what he's supposed to. Set a pick, run to the rim, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Per cleaning the glass, Rudy's a plus 9.5 differential when he's on the court. All of that is defense, though. Cat is
I mean,
plus 4.5.
we should reward that, right,
Yeah,
in the
we should.
reserves.
Yeah, see, then that's the other part of this with All Star, and it's the fans getting most of the perspective. Do I want to vote somebody in who's going to be there because they
Yeah.
do great things on defense?
But isn't it just the starters that's the All-Star fan vote?
Yes.
So reserves comes
so-
from coaches and
It
players,
comes from
right?
coaches and players. You are correct. Yes. So he's been voted.
Players ain't gonna vote for a Gobert.
Yeah, see, they've done it before, and I don't think they're going to do it again. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Kyrie is going to get in here somehow because
Yeah.
everybody
Loves him for some
loves
reason.
Kyrie. All right.
I mean, he does a lot of good for the community. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
This is a case where, like, Markkanen's case, because when was it? The All-Star game was in Utah last year,
Mm-hmm.
and he got in.
But he was a last pick too.
Exactly, I know, but I feel like that's his only case to get in. Is like if this were in Utah and they were like, oh, well, we need Utah's best player to be there, then Markkanen's going to get the nod in that case. So this year, though, I don't think he's going to get the nod. So, so you can the whole list. What are we saying on book? Are we in on book or not?
I'm in on book. I feel like, but the
He
problem
keeps
is
getting
like,
snubbed every year. I feel it's like like he's always.
but he's
first
also
out.
playing on like one of the best conferences for the last decade.
Yeah.
One of the best conference
between the
right?
two in
Like,
the last decade. Yeah, and now he's.
But he's also he hasn't played that many. Like, there's a games criteria here, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think the Suns have played almost 40 games.
Yeah, I think they're 19 and 21, or
Let me look. They played 38 games, and he's missed 7 already, right?
yeah, they're 20 and 18. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
the Lakers are 19 and 21. I got it mixed up. Yeah, they're 20 and 18.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, so
no, he's only played 29 games, so he's missed 9 games already. So there's a games played there that you can make a case based around that.
Yeah. So I guess to your earlier point, we can do the same exercise of like go down and see like so the T-Wolves. We have Ant, and that you brought up Cat and Gobert. So but do they deserve 2? When OKC is tied, they're 27 and 11, both of them, and OKC's got 1.
Well, you're giving consideration to Chet.
I'm giving
right?
consideration to Chet. So then I guess to your point, I should give consideration to one of the other two. Probably Cat, I guess, or one of them.
I think Gobert's more impactful
He is.
than Cat, but just points-wise, Cat is... Hold on, let me look. I did not spend any time looking at Cats. Yeah, I mean,
Cat's
they're
another
very
guy.
similar.
Yeah, Cat's another guy like Book. He keeps missing out because he's always been in the West too.
Mm-hmm.
And then
But
you
Cat-
have
Yeah, I don't know. This is hard.
then you have Denver. They just have Jokic. Murray would be. This was supposed to be Murray's year, right? To be an All-Star, but he was injured early in the season and missed a bunch of games. So unfortunately, I don't think he's gonna make it. Then the Clippers, definitely Kawhi. One of Harden or PG. We didn't even talk about the Pelicans. Zion. Or B.I.
Right. Oh, my God.
Does one of them deserve to be in here?
I think B.I. has actually been playing really well. Whenever I watch them, he's been really good for them. They just have a good team, though. Like,
They do.
they like as good as Zion and Bi are. I like having Herb Jones and Trey Murphy on the wings, right?
Yeah.
CJ's been an offensive assassin this year. I saw them. I think they were playing the Warriors on national TV, and they just were cutting them up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like that's a team effort.
Yeah, that does feel like a team effort. Zion doesn't rate out super well in some of the metrics, especially LeBron. But yeah, CJ's reinvented himself as
Yeah.
a point guard here. Like he's actually been lethal from three as well. So they're
He's,
yeah, I agree with you. They're a really good team.
yeah.
It's just
And,
yeah,
then, and CJ's always been, at least when I watched him on the Blazers, he's always been great as a point guard.
mm-hmm.
On the Blazers, he was played out of position as a two. So
yeah,
I mean, second half of the year, I could see them moving up into the top four.
yeah. They stay somewhat healthy, right? Then
Yeah.
yeah, because Trey's kind of working back from that knee, so
Yep.
they got him coming off the bench right now. We talked about Dallas, and then yeah, the Suns. We got KD and Book, maybe. My Rockets are at 10, and then yeah, the rest. Yeah, I think. Oh boy, yeah, the West is tough once you get to these reserves. I think Minnesota and OKC getting 2.
Okay, what are your locks for reserves? Let's start there.
AD, Ant, Curry, Fox, Braun, and either Harden or PG. One of those two.
Okay, so that is 6.
That's 6 spots. So there's only one left.
Okay, 1 spot left. I think to make matters easier,
Yeah.
in my mind, the criteria is the best team gets 2.
Okay. So who's the best?
Right.
They're both 27 and 11. So who's the best team?
Fuck. It's either that or you give a spot to BI, right?
Or do we give it to PG, the other one? Like give it to PG.
My thing
and
is
Harden?
like, are the Clippers playing good enough to have 3 All-Stars?
Yeah, that's what I'm
No,
like.
I don't think so. The Mavs are not playing good enough to have 2, but they are going to get 2.
Well, if you, I don't have Kyrie in right now, so
Oh, I see.
Kyrie
I see.
could be
Okay.
the last spot then.
No. Just straight no.
No.
No, I think Zion or Bi, man. I think Bi probably makes the most sense.
Okay.
Let's look at his numbers just to see how he compares.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. We'll see what the coaches and players think of at Şengün.
Yeah.
There's a chance. There is a chance.
Oh, you don't have him in?
No, he's not. He's not in right now.
I think Şengün deserves
To be in over. Because
Yeah.
I agree with you. Obviously, if you told me we were going to be 500 right now at this point in the season, I would say sign me up for that. That should probably put us about 10, which is I think where we are.
right.
And yeah, Şengün has obviously been a huge part of that. I mean, we didn't win. We lost to the Bulls, which was sad, but he took over late in that
Yeah.
Bulls game. They should have just kept feeding him the ball.
The only thing though against that argument
Yeah.
is you have at least one guy
Mhm.
from all of the playoff teams,
Yeah.
except for New Orleans,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
how much are you taking into consideration winning?
So there's so much nuance to this, man.
Yeah.
Some, for sure, which is why, like, I automatically default to best team definitely gets a guy. So Ant obviously makes it in the West. If there is a huge discrepancy between a player who's doing well on a bad team and a player who's doing all right on a good team, I tend to lean towards the player on the better team that's doing okay
Okay.
and getting that guy in. If it's close, then I'm fine going with the guy who's playing better. Like if the teams are like 4 games apart and it just happens to be the Pelicans are in the 6th spot and the Rockets are in the 10 because they're 4 games separated, I'm fine being like, all right, Şengün, you got it, bro. Like, you're playing better. It's close enough. But if there's 12 games between these two and one team is 8 games under 500, even if the dude's averaging almost 30, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not impactful 30, at least, not at the moment.
That's the thing. I'm like comparing the numbers from BI, Şengün, and Zion, and numbers wise, Zion is the most efficient. Makes sense. Most of his baskets come at the rim.
Yep.
But win shares wise, like the contribution to winning,
yeah,
Şengün is the best. So like, is that because Şengün has lesser talent around him? So when they do win games, it's more on him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to come down to the wire. We will see what ends up happening, but that's at least a preview from us on what's going to go on. Obviously, we think the West is going to be way more difficult to handicap and figure out than the East.
Yeah. Are you going to post your list online?
I will. When I do, I guess, come to more of a conclusion. Or maybe I'll just actually include maybe a little bit of a write-up on a couple of guys considered for the last spot. I'll put that on Twitter. You can follow at CourtsidePhD on Twitter. Post that. Okay. Quick thoughts before we go on some fantasy football stuff.
Okay.
Because you and I are both champs.
Let's go.
Let's go. You want to give us the quick rundown on your path to the championship?
Oh yeah. On the backs, I give my entire championship to CeeDee Lamb, Rachaad White. Who else? Hold up. Let me pull up my fantasy team. I literally stumbled my way through. George Pickens coming through in the playoffs. Thank you. Let me look at my team. Mahomes is worthless. I'm never drafting him again. He had a bad year. Yeah, he just had a really bad year.
Yeah.
Rachaad White, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens carried me. Jaylen Warren was great in the championship game. Got me 19 points. What about you?
Yeah, so I've been in a couple of leagues this is my 3rd year in my 2 leagues. So I won the 12-team league last year and got 3rd in it this year. Amari Cooper knocked me out with those 50 points or whatever it was. Jesus.
Yeah.
But then I finally won the 10-team league. I felt like I'd had the best team for the last couple of years and just got in a bad week and finally got over the hump. It literally goes all the way back to the beginning of the season. So one guy was auto-drafting, and ESPN auto-drafted him 4 quarterbacks, including Justin Fields and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and somebody else. And so he had to trade guys to bring in talent. So I traded Alexander Madison for Josh Allen, straight up, to start the season.
Nice.
When Tua was going to be my starting quarterback. And so I got my guy Josh, Bijan Robinson, James Cook, who turned it on late, CD, love CD, I had him last year too, Chris Olave, Jake Ferguson, David Montgomery. I picked up James Conner later in the season. And Waddle, Keenan Allen was one of the big pickups, or draft picks for me. Addison came through it at some point. Kincaid, Warren, Kyler Murray, but mainly old Josh Allen and CD and Keenan, actually. Those 3 carried me. So I got the chip, got a trophy in the mail on the way with my name engraved on it. Yeah. It's going to be so sick.
Yeah, I'm going to dress it up, take some pictures.
I'm going to be in the shades. I need to
find beanie on it, put some shades.
I need to find a cigar. And all right, cool. Hey, man, that's a wrap for this one. Appreciate you coming on. We will try to be more regular with these. So next week should be coming out on. This should be coming out on Thursday. We're recording this on Sunday morning, and then next week I'm going to record with the editor himself.
Oh,
finally.
nice.
So Carl making his debut on the pod. So that'll be fun. But until then, guys, see you later. Peace.
Bye.